All right, all right, all right. Y'all know what time it is. It is Monday night. We are back with another episode of the Reentry Journey podcast. I am your host, Cordell Sims, and I just want to thank everybody that's tuning in tonight. I want to thank everybody that's in the group. I want to thank everybody that's making their efforts and doing everything they can for the fight for all of us to to master this reentry, to stop the recidivism, to stop going to prison and the whole pipeline. Tonight, our guest has an amazing story, has a lot of trials and tribulations, but has the overcome and has the strength and everything that it took to overcome and get everything in order. I like to bring to the forefront our guest, Miss Helen Skipper. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. Hello, family. Because bottom line, if you're listening to this podcast, you're my family. You're my community. My name is Skip. I don't like to be called Helen. I used to get in trouble a lot. And Helen was what I was called when they was going to get the switch. So we're not even going to take me back to those times. My name is Skip. I'm on here talking about my experiences. I'm from New York City. I have been in every system in New York City. I have been over criminalized. I have been in the homeless system. I'm in recovery from substance abuse. I'm in recovery from a mental illness. Well, what I'm here to talk to you about today is just a small snippet of my story because it's multifaceted. It has different levels. But just put it this way. Y'all look at me. Y'all know I look a day over 18. Yeah, I get it. Good black, don't crack and all that. But in all actuality, I'm 55, going to be 56. I've been in and out of every system in New York City from the age of 17. I came home for the last time in 2007. What I want to talk to you guys about is my journey through the system, about how I lived at the intersectionality of behavioral health and criminal justice, how one system consistently led me to the next system. How when I got in one system thinking that here is a place where I could get the support and the assistance needed, I never got that. Instead, I was pushed on to one system to another system. I was out in the street doing what I was doing because my mental health was kind of like crazy. And I use that word very lightly. I don't like to use, stigmatizing language. But that's how I was feeling at the time. And I had nobody to talk to, nobody to turn to. I wasn't educated. I didn't have a doctor that I can talk to. I'm from an old Southern family. Y'all know the type. The one your mom said, everything stay in the house, stay in the house. The one your mom said, oh, you got a problem? Take it to the pastor. Or you talk to your grandmother. But unfortunately, my grandmother was long past. And my mom's was, take it to the pastor. And then the next breath, don't let nothing that go on in this house come out the house. So I was forced to deal with it. So what I did was I turned to the street. And in the street, I met some substances. And these substances kind of like made me feel okay. It made me feel like everything was everything and there was no problems. I became addicted to drugs. The drug addiction caused me to start doing things, whatever I felt I needed to do to make that money to get that drug. I'm sure we all know what that is. And I did it. I'm addicted. I want to get high. So you're talking about robbing, stealing, all type of mess? Yeah, that was me up in there. But before I even continue the story, let me just say that I was raised by my mother and my father in the church. So I always had a moral meter. And the things that I was doing was really, really against me being raised and how I was raised. But I still continue to do it because when you're in the grips of something like that, there's nothing that no one can say to you. So boom, from drug addiction, I started going to jail. In jail, I entered homeless. I entered addicted to drugs. And I entered with a mental illness. My drug addiction was not supported. My mental illness was not helped. My homelessness was not helped because the same way I entered into jail, I left out with those 3 monkeys on my back. And this continued on and on from the age of 17 until I left in my early 40s. It was a back and forth thing. Some people talk about the hamster wheel of recidivism. I was on the hamster wheel of intersectionality because everything led to the next and back to the next. If my mental illness went unchecked, I went straight to the drugs. From the drugs, that led me straight back into jail. In jail, no help, no nothing. I entered homeless. When I left, did I have a place to stay? No. Back to the homeless shelter, which is not really the type of situation that you want to be in when you're trying to get yourself together. Not that I was ever really trying, because the one thing about recovery is about the hope and the promise that there's better. My recovery is not your recovery. Your recovery is not anybody else's recovery. People can sit up there, they can talk at you, they can tell you 15 million things. But at the end of the day, until you're ready, it doesn't sink in. For me, it took me a long time to get ready. So I went back and forth. Were you trying to?
Yeah. So before we go any further, because I wanted to everybody to see the importance of, you were saying that you was covering up the mental health issues with the drug abuse and the substance abuse.
Yes.
A lot of times they send a lot of people to prison. They send us to prison without even attempting to understand the mental health issues that we may be going through, or to even say, okay, instead of prison, let's try this instead of sending them to prison. But no,
Exactly.
I don't care what the mental health is. They broke the law, send them to prison. How is it important now to, as you look back, to say, all right, even I know we talk about prison and going in and out of jail, but even those that haven't been down this path but facing them mental illness, how much of importance is it to address those mental illness outside of, without going through the route of drug addiction or criminality or anything like that?
So the importance in checking and addressing your mental illness, first of all, this carceral nation relies on overcriminalization. So instead of looking to help us, to give us the support and assistance we need, the only thing they want to do is throw us in jail. And then I don't know about everybody else, but in New York State, if you have a mental illness and a psychiatrist prescribes you meds, even if it's something you really don't want to take or you don't like the way it feels, if it's prescribed and you do not take it, you're then recriminalized while being locked up, because now you're getting a tier 2 ticket. And a tier 2 ticket is shoe time. 23 hours in the cell, an hour for rec. Not a pretty sight for someone who suffers.
Right, for mental, especially some mental health issues, and you're putting them in a confined place where you ain't get no, like you say, you're locked down. You're right on that. Oh man, I lost my train of thought, because that really hit me right there. Of you putting someone who's dealing with mental health problems and issues, and you putting it out there. That really doesn't make any sense to me. Like, oh yeah, because I remember times where I was locked up in prison, and then you hear the med calls at certain times of the day, and you see people go get the meds, and you was talking about how if you don't take the meds, then you go to. Why do you think that it's like they force the medication on you?
So, in New York State, and I'm really going to base my talking on New York State because that's only where I've been incarcerated at. You belong to the state. Everything you do, your body and everything belongs to the state. There is nobody working with you. There is nobody who can say, yeah, I understand. So they will give you whatever they is that they want to give you. I've witnessed people over medicated in a corner with their tongue hanging out. And I knew that I didn't want to be like that. But there was not a psychiatrist or a psychologist available for me to talk to. It's like you was railroaded and, okay, I'm going to prescribe you this, ... Here's your prescription go through. The next thing you know, you got to go to meds. And hey, if you got meds twice or 2 times a day, literally, you're up at 6 a.m, standing on the med line, and at 9 at night, standing on the med line. And it's not because you want to. It's because you're being made to. It's because you're being forced to. Nobody educated us. Nobody talked to us about what was going on inside of our brains. Nobody said, let's try this. This is least invasive. It won't leave you feeling foggy like your head is in a bubble. Let's see how that works. Nobody listened to you. So if you came back and said, listen, this medication got my arm hanging like this and my tongue going sideways, I don't want to take it. That's not something they want to hear from you, because you're not your own person. The state owns your body. And if the doctor say you got to take it, well, then by golly, you got to take it. So
we just
you deal with that. Yes.
So we just gonna give you. So we just gonna give you meds, and we're not even gonna address the whole
Not
underlying issue.
not at all. It's kind of like being trauma informed, not about what did you do, but what happened to you. No one was willing to take the time to peel away the layers of the onion. The
So what
only
was?
thing I go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that the only thing you could do was just accept, because you belong to the state.
So what
You
was
know,
it like knowing that you have these knowing that you have mental health issues that you really need to address, but you're not being able to get that while being incarcerated? So how was you dealing with, or how was you trying to cope with the things that you was dealing with without having no one to really talk to and address that?
at the end of the day, I had a choice: take it, make my board, and go home. But basically, I left out the same way I went in. So you could be a strong individual, capable of speaking your own mind, capable of dictating whether you want to or not, capable of making a choice. But once you get inside, all of that is taken away from you. So either you got to dumb down because you know you want to go home and you want to go home on your date, or you want to fight back against the system and face the chance of not making your board, of not going home when you're supposed to. For me, and this is probably where I created this system, this feeling of resilience. I resolved to get through it, get over it, get around it, whatever I had to do. I'm gonna do what the people say. I was a rabble rouser out in the street, but you know when I got in the jail, I walked the straight and narrow. I'm not getting a ticket. You're not locking me up. You're not relocking me up. You're not taking away my little bit of commissary. You're not taking away my chance to go outside and get some air. You're not going to do that. So I walked it straight and narrow. I'm a little upset because I walked it straight and narrow. But at that time, I didn't know how to advocate for myself. I didn't know that I could speak up. I didn't know that there was somebody out there that would listen to me. And in all actuality, there was nobody there. I didn't learn how to advocate and speak for myself until years after I left the system. But once I learned that, as you can see, there's no stopping me now.
That's right. And so you said you went, you came out, just you know what I'm saying, same things that you did,
Mhm,
that you went in. You really didn't, wasn't nothing really addressed, but
mhm,
you wanted to make sure that you didn't get no tickets, so you can get your time and get on up out of there.
mhm,
So
mhm.
so when you got released, what was that like navigating back into society with the same way that you when you left, with the same mentality that you left with, and the
To be
same issues?
to be honest, it was nothing new, because even if I was released, I knew that within 6 to 7 months I'd be right back up in there. Either my parole officer would violate me or I'd catch a new number. Why? Because I came out the same way I went in. I didn't have the resilience. I didn't have the skills. I didn't have the knowledge. I didn't have nothing built up to shield myself from what was going on in the mean streets. And that's where I was, because I was released into a homeless shelter, which is really a step up from you got the same individuals sitting around, not doing anything, not thinking about doing anything, only about the next scheme in their head. And even if you come out of jail, everybody come home. Oh, I'm gonna do the right thing. I'm a this. I'm a that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I'm not going to jaywalk. I ain't going this. They ain't going to catch me. And if they do catch me, I'm running. They ain't going to lock me up. But at the end of the day, when you face against nothing and you have no one to turn to, you don't have a supportive system, you don't have any type of stability, at the end of the time, when shit get rough, you running right back to where you felt more comfortable, to what you was doing before you even went back in. And sooner or later, we can all call ourselves master criminals, whatever, masterminds or whatever. At the end of the day, we didn't do all that good because we kept going back to jail.
Yeah, we kept getting caught. Yeah,
You know
that's what I tell people all the time. They like, you was a drug dealer. I said, yeah, I wasn't that good because I kept going. I kept getting caught.
Yeah, you called me an OG or whatever. But guess what? But this OG kept getting busted.
Right.
So that meant that I wasn't sitting up in jail trying to perfect what I was doing. I was sitting up in jail trying to get out. But there was nothing in jail to build me up so that when I got out, I was good. So we went back and forth. From the age of 18 until the age of 41, I was in jail almost every year. I didn't do long time, but I caught a bid. I did 2 to 4s, 1 to 3s, 3 to 6s. You know what I'm saying? Multiple parole violations. Sometimes it wasn't even a new bid. It was my PO saying, oh, you done caught it dirty, before giving me a chance at a program or anything. And you go. Some of them gave me chances at a program, and I went into a program. But then you have programs that, again, want to treat people any type of way and tell them you got to do this, you got to do that. And sometimes that's not what's needed. The thing is with these systems, and I'm going to include all systems, these systems are made to be a one-size-fits-all type of thing. But not everybody is the same. Not everybody is built the same way. Not everybody has the same lived experiences. Not everybody has the same knowledge of self or of what they want to do. But you take us all in and you lump us all together and you're like, no, because you're no good because you have had an incarceration. You're a felon. You're an ex-con. On top of that, you're a drug addict, crackhead, whatever you want to call. On top of that, you don't have an address. You're living in a homeless shelter. So guess what? I'm fitting to put you up under the jail. And I went through that for years. And like I said about recovery is the hope and the promise. And it wasn't the millions of NAs I attended. It wasn't the positive people that I did come into contact with when I was made to enter into a program or something and go through the motions, act as if. It was just something in me that says, I'm so tired of this. And that's what happened. I got tired. It wasn't cute out in them streets. The fast money wasn't all that fast. It left me even faster than I made it. You know what I'm saying? I still woke up the next morning, no money, still ain't got no place to stay, wondering where I'm hit my next lick, what's my next bit, what's my master scheme to get me some money that day. You know what I'm saying? And I got tired, man. I got tired. I learned some things. I did. I learned resilience. I learned how to talk. I'm from the street, so as you can tell, I can talk.
Right.
But I got tired of being told when to dumb down. I got tired of being told when to go to bed. As a woman, I got tired of standing up before some man and begging for sanitaries. Like I had no idea why I had to sit there and discuss my monthly flow with you.
Exactly.
Right. I don't even discuss that with my fathers and my brothers. You know what I'm saying? So I had no idea why I had to do it there. I got tired of being made to do this and do that and not being able to figure out who Skip really was. But it still continued. But the more it continued, the more I got tired. And literally the last time where I was in a program and I was going to school, but I had nobody helping me out. And I could go in the store and leave out with anything without paying for it. And there was something in the store. I don't even remember what it was, but I wanted it. And it was nobody sending me money or anything. So I did what I do. I make a way. And that way was to go in there and steal it. Now, the program did not catch me stealing. They just knew all of a sudden, I don't get no visits, nothing, but I got a brand new Walkman and I got a brand new watch and things like that. He's like, yo, we know you going in these stores and you stealing, but we can't catch you. But we know that's what you're doing. So what they did was I was in the program and I was going to school. And I was due to be released from the program and finish school at the same time so I could go out and get a job and get my life together. What they did with, oh, we're going to stop you from going to school. We just going to have you sit in the house for the next 6 months. And I said, but if you sit me down, then there goes my chance for trying to make something of myself because I'm in school trying to learn a trade. I'm trying to do right. If you sit me down for something you think I'm doing, but have no proof, you just think I'm doing it. And if you sit me down, this is going to be yet another instance where I enter into a system or a program and there's no help, there's no assistance, and I leave out again the same way. So I had to think, and I said to myself, why am I here? Like, what are they really doing for me? They're not doing anything for me. There was a lesson to be learned, but they did not teach it to me in the correct way. And I walked out and I went back to the street. And after 3 days on the street, I got tired again. And I got arrested one more time for shoplifting. But that last time that I got arrested, I don't know. I guess I just looked back on my whole life and was like, nah, I can't. This ain't fun no more. You know.
And that was that moment where it was like, okay.
That was that moment where I surrendered. And for one time, I guess when I went before the judge, and we talking about a little misdemeanor, we also talking about a parole violation for maybe about 3 months, one concurrent. But when I stood up in front of the judge, I guess he saw the defeat in my eyes. He saw my spirit low. And I was really like, I cannot do this again. I cannot keep doing this. And he gave me a shot and he sent me into a program. I completed the program. I even became a house manager in the program. And after that program, and the program also did something that nothing else had done for me. It took me out of New York City and sent me to an area to sit me down without the sights, the sounds, you know, the little stuff pulling me back. It sent me to this area. It was about a good 50, 60 miles away from Bronx, Brooklyn, Harlem. You know what I'm saying? I was all the way out in Suffolk County. And without, I want to say, the outside influence, without me knowing that it's right down the block around the corner, that somewhere there's a party, somewhere somebody hanging out, and I could go run and join them. Without all of those influences in my life, I thrived. I stuck to the program. I learned some things. I learned about me. I learned about recovery. I learned about the damage that I was doing to me. I was able to face the fact that my mother and father had raised me in church, and I was not acting how I was raised. I even had a doctor who actually listened to me, who talked to me. Instead of filling me up with meds, once I started learning about my addiction and mind and mood altering substances, I knew that the mental meds was just another form of mind and mood altering substances. And I was like, my body is clean from that. I don't want this junk no more. And I had a doctor who actually sat and listened to me and said, okay, I see you ready. I hear what you're saying. Let's try to bring you down. And just like that, they started bringing me down. And I stayed clean until one day I woke up and I was no longer on mental meds. I was on a sleeping pill if I needed it. And I never really needed that. I finished the program. They said, come on back in here and be a house manager, which means be a mentor to females just coming in from the streets, from jail. And I started doing that. And it's like, from me being a house manager, I learned what using my lived experience was before I could even put a name on it. Because I used my lived experience to mentor and maintain the house and the women that was in the house. I became a counselor to them. And in doing that, that also helped me stay straight. And after that, I never looked back. Thank you, Facebook user. I never looked back.
I can't say the name, but that's Abby. Abby Hayes said you're such an inspiration.
Thank you, sweetie. And I never looked back. And it's been one, I want to say, progressive leap after another. So today, after all of that, after all the drug programs, after all the homeless shelters, after the park benches and the rooftops, after every jail in New York State for women. Today, my name is Skip. I am the manager of peer services at the New York City Criminal Justice Agency. I
That's
got
right.
14 peers under me.
That's right. That's
I
what I'm talking
am
about.
intentional about creating space in this system for those of us with lived experience. But not only that, even though I am a certified peer specialist and a certified recovery peer advocate, and I use my lived experiences, this is my job. I realized that there was something missing. I realized that I didn't quite get the validation that I should get from clinicians and from systems. I realized that the only way that I could get fully validated when I had a seat at the table was to learn the rhetoric that they speak. So yeah, at the age of 52, I went back to school because
Okay.
I needed that collegial discourse. I needed that rhetoric that the policymakers speak. Yeah, I talk well. I do. But I could slip in the street jogging at any minute. Or I could act really, really professional and talk to you about intersectionalities and about frameworks and about systems of change. And I had to go back to school to learn that. I had to go back to school to get that essential piece. So I'm a junior in college. I'm an honor student. I'm
That's
Greek.
all right. That's right.
Me, who ran the streets trying to get you for your last dollar and tried to smoke enough crack from here to Cuba. I'm now in an honor society. I'm going to be a junior. I am on my way to becoming a convict criminologist.
That's
Now,
right.
I'm not okay with the name convict criminologist, but I'm okay with what it means. A convict criminologist is someone who has a PhD. So yes, I will be a doctor. You will call me Dr. Skip.
That's right.
And they use their lived experiences to inform and reform and transform systems. I'm on my way to being that. I'm about 5 years away. And I'm not going to stop until I finish, because the same people that put my hands behind my back and walked me through the back into the courtroom now welcome me through the front with the judges and the attorneys. And people who are out there that are going through same or similar situations, I'm now there for them. I'm their advocate. I am their voice. I'm the one that's calling around the programs, getting them beds and shelters, there for them when they are released, helping them get apartments. I'm giving them everything that was not given to me. But it's okay because I built my resilience. I'm unapologetic about my lived experience. And I'll sit here and talk to you about it from now until I'm blue in the face. But I will never apologize for the road that I went. Because even though I made a left turn when I should have went right, I crossed the street against traffic when I should have been in the crosswalk. When the light said don't cross, I was keying down the yellow line. You know what I'm saying? Just grooving to my own beat. It still forged who I am today. Today, I'm able to sit here and talk to you about it. I'm able to sit here and mentor and help others so that they don't have to follow that same path. Today, I'm changing policy. I'm creating change. And I'm doing it all sitting at the table with the policymakers. And I'm not there as the token black. I'm not there as the token person with lived experience. I'm there because of my experience and my expertise. You know, right. And that's why it's only us that can change the system. Only us.
That's right. And so I know somebody might be tuning in, or I see this later, and they say, man, you got it right. You changed that. You went to a place that was away from home. You know, you started and everything came together. So explain the obstacles, though, that you had to face once you made that decision and you got away. Like, it just wasn't clear cut and dry for you, was it?
No. Let me tell you something. I've been home since 2007. Yet I still can't sign a basic lease because
That's
you want to pull a criminal background check on me. I own my own business. I had to go sideways for my own business because when it came time for me to ask for a $10 permit a $10 permit to sell items in street fairs. They told me no. And they told me no 30 years after my first felony. They said, could you please explain what your state of mind was when you quit this felony at age 18? I said, honey, if I knew what my state of mind was at age 18 and I'm 47, I might not be sitting here today. I might have been the doctor that my mother wanted me to be. I said, there's no way you can ask me to explain my state of mind. What's on my record is on my record. Instead of looking at what's on my record, since the time I was 18, I'm 47. Look at what I'm doing now.
That's right.
So things are still twisted. There are some good things today with the Band Box and things like that. But I remember coming home and literally looking at jobs saying, nope, can't apply there. Nope, can't apply there. Nope, can't apply there. Because I know they was going to pull my record. They was going to pull a background check.
And what was that feeling like right there? Just knowing that
That everybody would
feel.
Everybody. See, the thing was, and my PO would push me toward McDonald's or Burger King. Because, they hire anybody.
Yeah, that's right.
And I had some college by then. I didn't have enough, but I had enough to know that you're not going to have me fry burgers and flip fries for the rest of my life. Like, this is not what I'm here for. You know what I'm saying? I'll use it as a stepping stone, but you guys are telling me that this is all that I can aspire to. And no, I'm much more than that. I'm worth much more than that. There's much more that I can do. That's right. So you're always going to face people who tell you can't. And I love people when they tell me I can't. Because I tell them, not Mrs. Skipper's baby daughter, Helen. Like, y'all don't know me. I'm the master of my own life now. Today, nobody tells me what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. You know what I'm saying? And you cannot look me dead in my eye and tell me there's something that I cannot do. Because just on spite and because I can, I'm going to go do it and do it better than you. I don't play that. We have been downtrodden. We've been talked down upon. People have treated us like they scraped us up from the gutter. And this is just how we was treated inside. Mm-hmm. After we've paid our debt to society, and all we're trying to do is have a good life like everybody else. Why should we still be treated like that? Why is there still discrimination in the type of jobs we do, in the housing we do? Why are you trying to keep us locked up in this little tiny area, geographically with the red lines and all that? We can go into racism. We can go into institutional. We can go into structural. We can just chop it up about that. But at the end of the day, we have so many marks against us from day one. From day one. That the criminal history is just like closing the book. But it doesn't have to be like that. Today, we're in a much better state when it comes to getting yourself together when you come out of jail. We're not there yet. Don't get me wrong. I'm sorry. My phone is going off.
Phone started jamming.
Yo, house music, baby. I'm an old school head. I'm an old head. House music.
It's the best.
We're not there yet. But it's better than when I first came home. But we're still not there yet. We won't be there until we create housing, until we create equal opportunity, until we create chance, until people look at us and say, you have paid your debt to society. Continue on with your life. It is okay for you to become a responsible citizen. Today, I drive, I pay a car note, I pay taxes, I go on Caribbean cruises, I'm married. I do everything that a normal citizen who has never been affected by the criminal justice system.
And it feels good too.
And it feels good. But when I go to apply for a bank account, when I go to sign a lease for an apartment, when I go, not that I want to, because I will start scheming on their money, apply for a job at a bank or something like that. All of this comes back home, and again, I'm not afraid of my background. I'm not.
That's
And I
right.
don't care about ban the box. I really don't. Ban the box is where you don't have to put down whether you have a felony or misdemeanor conviction until after they offer you the job. I don't care about that because, like I said, I'm completely unapologetic. So I'm gonna tell you all about it. Like it, love it. I don't care.
I love that. I love that you said that because that's the
Mm-hmm.
mentality that I took on as well, and I think it's a
Mm-hmm.
mentality that all of us just need to take on when we returning home. We gotten ourselves together. We on the right path, and
Mm-hmm.
we really made that transformation and that change. I think that we need to take the attitude like I don't care about the band of box. I don't care about.
Mm.
I don't have nothing to hide. I did what I did. That ain't who I am today. This is what I'm on today. So all that there, I'm really
Ex-
leaving it behind me. So this,
exactly.
okay.
Exactly.
And I think that's the perfect attitude to take on because that's the attitude that I took on as well.
Mm-hmm.
But another question I have is if you could take one word to describe this journey, your journey,
No,
what would it be?
I already said it, and this is my own word: unapologeticness. My journey is full of unapologeticness because I did what I did, and I'm still am who I am. And when you call me Dr. Skip, and I'll have PhD beside my name, I will still be unapologetic. I am not here to apologize for where my life's journey has taken me. I'm not. I'm here to build upon it, to make myself better, to take what I have and pass it along to anybody else coming up almost in the same path. I'm not here to apologize. I will not apologize.
Mm,
And you will see me and you will afford me the same opportunities as if you would afford someone who looks like me but with a different skin color but the same age who did not enter the criminal justice system. The same thing you get them, you're going to give me. I
that's
won't
right.
have it any other way.
Mm, mm, mm. And you ain't supposed to have it any other way.
That's
Point
right.
blank, you ain't
I'm not
supposed
a
to have it.
second class citizen. You're not. Years ago, when I was going back and forth to Jarrell, you treated me like well mess on the bottom of the ocean. I'm not going back and forth to jail. You would not talk to me like you done scrape me up from the gutter. We're not going to have that.
That's right.
And I don't have a problem telling anybody that. We're not going to have that. But the hardest thing for my brothers and sisters coming home is to get the adequate support. That's the hardest thing. So here in New York City, we're creating an initiative called the Justice Peer Initiative. We are creating a one-stop shop. We are creating a certification for justice peers. First of all, so it's standardized. Those of us that have lived experience. So we're creating a certification for that. We're creating a standalone justice peer center for us, by us. And this is going to be a one-stop shop. And this is just not for the returning citizens. This is for those of us that are caught up in corrections, those of us that are caught up in the court system, those of us that are caught up in family court, anybody caught up in systems. We even taking it back a little. So not just you being in the system. We're going out and help the community before
Mm,
they get there. Before
that's
they
right.
get there, we going to scoop up the kids and bring them in there. We're going to have everything in this Justice Peer Center. SAMHSA has the sequential intercept model. And there are 5 intercepts from 0 to 5. And these intercepts supposedly are places of entry into the system. When we finish building out this Justice Peer Center, every place of entry into the system will be affected because we'll have some type of programming or service in this one place. We have agencies that work in the reentry space. We have behavioral health agencies that do a couple of programs for those who are, how they call it, criminal legal involved. We have hospitals and the New York City Hospital Center that has a separate health program for those of us who've come out of Rikers Island or have been involved in the system. There are little programs here and there all over the landscape of the city. What the Justice Peer Center is going to do is going to gather up all of that and have it in a one shop where anybody can come in and receive the services, receive the assistance, receive navigation, and receive support. We're going to have housing. We're going to have housing for women and babies. We're going to have housing for men. We're going to have housing for the youth. We're going to have programs. We're going to introduce and make accessible higher education. Because I don't know about you, but I've had my GED since I was 16. Every time I came out of jail and I was doing an intake for somebody's service or agency, they would come to this question, do you have a GED? And I would say, yes, I do. And that was the end of the conversation. Nobody ever talked to me about higher education. This is why I am at 50, still in undergrad. Mm-hmm. But we have all of our brothers and sisters who are doing some positive things while they are incarcerated. They're going and getting a GED. They're taking college credit courses in college. But when they come home, all of that stops because nobody puts that in their way. Not with us. Not with us. We're not resting on the fact that you have a GED. We're here to let you know that higher education is obtainable. Look at me. I attend Columbia University in the city. I also attend St. Francis College. I'm an honor student at St. Francis College. I'm a Justice in Education scholar at Columbia University, which is an Ivy League school. There are college programs out there that are built for those of us who are justice involved, because there's money out there for that. But what's going on is not too many people is talking about it, because, oh no, you can't educate these ex-prisoners. You can't educate these ex-substance abusers. What will they think of next? Exactly. What are we going to think of? We're going to run the world. We're going to take this system that's broken down, that's oppressive, that is skewed toward traumatization of Black and brown people, and we're going to break it down and we're going to build it up. But we can't do that unless we get the appropriate skills and the knowledge. Just like I told you, I need to be able to speak with the policymakers. I need to be able to sit at the table, understand and learn what they're saying. I need to go back to school to get that. I need to be able to have an academic conversation.
Right. That's right. And so, wow. And I agree with you. That's what we need. I was like what you were saying about that. You cover all aspects that the peer specialists, the things that y'all are doing, that you're covering all aspects. Not just coming home, but even to stop to going. And remind me of a quote. I always say this quote because it's very important. By Desmond Tutu. He says we need to stop just pulling people out of the river. We need to go upstream to find out why they keep falling in.
That's right. That's right.
That's right. And that's what that reminds me of. And I just want to give you your flowers while you're on the show. The transition, the transformation, and then the work. You're not just climbing, but you climbing and carrying at the same time. You're bringing people with you, and that's and that's the most amazing things. So I really appreciate you for your journey, your hard work, you sharing your story with us here at the Reentry Journey.
Thank you.
We got a few comments here. Somebody said that it was a pleasure to have you on. When you was talking earlier, they said you're such an inspiration. They like how you was talking about the do or die diagnosis earlier when you was talking about that. So we really appreciate everything that you do, and I'm pretty sure the people that you affect immediately really appreciates what you're doing.
I thank you for that. That means a whole lot to me. Thank you.
Okay, we really do. So if someone wanted to get in contact with you, how do they go about getting in contact with you? Email?
Yes, email. Can I put it in here in the chat or something?
Yeah, I can type it in on the chat.
Yeah. This is my email. please hit me up. I love speaking. I love presenting. I love talking, especially if you're in the New York City area and you need assistance with anything or anywhere else. Hit me up. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation.
That's right. And so, yeah, the email is in the chat, in the comment section. And so I'm going to bring it up just to make sure that it's on there right. And this
Thank
the
you.
email right here.
Yes, it is. Yes,
Right.
it is.
Yeah, that's the email right there. So if you want to get in touch, book her to speak, I do a lot of mentorship. I'm pretty sure she does a lot of mentorship outside of
Yes,
the
I
program.
do.
She in reach contact with Skip. Get in contact with Skip. Like I said, I appreciate you sharing your story. Is there any final words that you'd like to leave? Somebody getting out, somebody just got out today. They seen your stories. What's the final message for them?
The message is be unapologetic. Use the experience you have to motivate you to move forward. Don't apologize for where you've been.
There it is.
Tell people where you're going and have a plan. Have a plan. Know where you want to go. Don't apologize. Move forward, not backwards.
Don't apologize where you've been. Tell them where you're going.
That's right.
I like that. I like that. Thanks for coming on, sharing your
Thank
knowledge.
you. I thank you guys. Thank you. Bye, America.
All right. You have a great night. And once again, thanks for coming on and being a guest and sharing your story with us.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys. Have a good night.
You too.